crazy. Like, how are all my cards actually upright? Because when I shuffled, the only one that was in reverse was the devil, which of course is a synchronicity, right? So I guess the devil in reverse is going to come out because we have, and then it actually transmuted itself. I didn't even turn that one upside down, which is not good. If the devil transmutes itself, that means there's a regenerative pest. Oh, hi, this is Ellie. I guess I'll get started on this message. This is Ellie of Herbcraft by Ellie Apothecary. Spirit is guiding me to do another impromptu channeled message / tarot quest. I'm just going to jump in today, everyone. If you're community, thank you for being here again. If you like the video, drop an emoji, whatever. It supports the channel. If you're just stopping by, you will love to catch the variety of different messages I do if you visit my Divine With Me playlist. Anyways, I'm going to skip the long chatty intro and we're just going to get into this. So, this is not technically a tarot quest. It's not technically a channeled message. It's whatever it wants to be. So, I'll tell you right now, I'm working with the Luna Edition Ethereal Visions Tarot and Kim Cran's Archetype deck. Not sure how much you can hear the music in the background. It's my Flow playlist on Spotify. Description box has many, many goodies in it to check out if you are filling up to exploring. Speaking of explorations, I'm a spiritual guide. We talk about deeper concepts here. I'm an advocate, which means I spread awareness and break stigmas. The Hermit card just came out. It seems like Spirit wants to talk about the Ten of Wands. Originally, I pulled out the Devil in reverse, and then I went to go correct my cards, so to speak, you know, get them all upright for like a fresh shuffle, you know what I mean? And the devil transmuted itself, so that told me that some kind of pest is trying to regenerate itself and it's creating burdens. And then we get the Ten of Swords after that, so 10-10 is significance, huge closing of chapters, mirroring something, and the Ten of Swords is typically the card of betrayal, but it means that the betrayal is over. But you're feeling pretty defeated. You've been carrying a lot of stuff that wasn't yours. I'm guessing a lot of toxic energies that were trying to attach themselves to you, that keep trying to attach themselves to you. And you're aware, you know. You're also protected as the Queen of Wands and the Hermit. Like, you've studied your craft. You know how to protect yourself. You work with the divine. You have higher knowledge here. So whatever is trying to act as a form of pestilence in your life or in spiritual concepts cannot connect to you because of the work you've done. And you've carried something for a long time, and I think you've realized now you don't have to carry it. All you got to do is go inward. Cleanse, purify, detoxification. I'm waiting for the cards to come out, so bear with me. How about everybody take a deep breath to prepare yourself for whatever this message is, because we go deep. I'm very real, but I'm also very compassionate, so if you're welcoming this experience, take a deep breath. Otherwise, thank you for stopping by. Have a great time elsewhere. Knight of Swords. Some kind of quick communication. All right, deep breath. In and out. Don't hold your breath. In and out. Deeply breathe. You know what deep breathing does? It slows your heart rate down. It makes you focus more on the present moment. And you'll actually feel the stress, the Ten of Wands on your shoulders come down. You'll actually feel relief. Knight of Swords could be a messenger. Could be somebody who's coming very quickly to you to bring clarity, news. This could be spirit giving you messages through signs and synchronicities or downloads if you're in tune. This could also be somebody coming to tell you something, or it could represent you. I'm thinking it's somebody coming towards you because I feel like the Hermit is you and the Queen of Wands. Tarot isn't about gender, so apply the roles however you want to apply them, because it's all about energy. Just like astrology, I'm a professional astrologer, psychic, medium, empath, so I talk about astrology. That's too many cards, but I'll take the top one. The Empress. Beautiful! The Empress. Well, we're starting off with some pretty heavy hitter cards. This could be the Knight of Swords coming towards the Empress, or the Empress is about to receive word on something. Interesting. This brings me back to a reading we had, I want to say in the last 6 weeks. You can go to the Divine With Me playlist or Channeled Messages playlist for all my older readings. Also, in case you're wondering, this is an intentional black screen reading. I work with what I've got in the moment, and sometimes I do auditory content and sometimes I do recorded filmed content. And when I launch my Patreon in the near future, I'll be offering private exclusive full readings in video form. So if you're really looking for that and you like my style, just hang in there and join our community. We've got a spiritual community going here. 7 of Wands, something is divinely protecting this communication. That's what I'm sensing here. I was speaking on astrology signs. You got to kind of go with the flow, which is funny because we were talking about me putting on the flow playlist. We've been talking about unexpected change a lot in the collective. This is a collective message. When I speak on zodiac, I'm speaking on energies, just like gender. It's how it forms, it's what it's associated with. We're not talking about specific people, but if it rings any bells about specific people in your life or different aspects of your own birth chart that you know about, well then apply it where it fits, right? And yeah, no, not everything is going to resonate. Knight of Cups. Someone is coming forward with some kind of expression of fulfillment, we'll say. Some people would say love, some people would say creative project, expressing feelings, opening up. I guess this is kind of turning into a tarot reading. I thought I was going to do a channeled message purely, but I've been also adapting to change. 6 of Cups. Okay. Some kind of soulmate or someone from your childhood or someone that you can be your inner child with safely. You can have fun, you can play, you can relax, you can enjoy life. Or this is something that somebody wants to communicate, because we've got both the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups. King of Wands. Well, we have a divine counterpart here with the King and Queen of Cups. So whoever or whatever this message is about, it's a match. It's in alignment with you, we'll say. Whatever that means, apply it to your personal life. However, because again, collective message, not everything will resonate, some of it will. Follow the signs and synchronicities. If I see any, I will definitely speak on them, like the 1010. Perhaps somebody had to close, both of you, whoever and whatever this is about, had to close major chapters and put down the past. Transmute the devil, so to speak. Transmute the toxins, detoxify, purify, make space. And Spirit has been protecting both of you, whatever this is in regards to. One of you is definitely more receptive and the other one active. I'm going to say you are the receptive one because you came out as the Queen and the Hermit, the Queen of Wands and the Hermit, and the person coming towards you is a Knight action energy. Yeah, this is some kind of bold action, and it's something about some kind of connection. Six of Cups could also be about something, communicating something from the past, or wanting to start something new after coming out of something from the past. Let me get a clarification here on the Six of Cups. Two of Wands. Setting intentions, making plans, waiting for your ships to come in. One of you is creating an internal process world, and the other one is taking actions and being diligent. And like I said, one is more active, one is more receptive. You'd say receptive is more feminine and active is more masculine. Yet again, we all embody all energies. And we all go through different cycles. Eight of Swords. I do read out every card, by the way, so you don't miss anything. And when applicable, I use descriptive audio to speak on what the cards look like. I want to make another note that when I create the shorter form versions of this content, I clip it so the messages flow, so you can watch or listen to them back to back in case you don't have time for the entire. I usually call them tarot quests because they can run up to an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And if this is a tarot quest, which I don't really know, Spirit's really guiding me to get away from labels, and I've been telling the collective a lot to not get stuck in a box. I just pulled the Queen of Cups right over the Ten of Wands and the Hermit. Anyways, enough about me. The Queen of Cups is a very loving, receptive, nurturing, emotionally sensitive, giving person. I feel like you are the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups here. You're very magnetic, you're very loving, you're very receptive. We also have the Empress here. Now that could represent you as well. You could be an Empress, and again, you could be an Emperor. I don't typically read back and forths, only because I read the energy as it presents, and whoever it's meant to apply to, it will apply to, because my messages are very specific, and I set very positive intentions that they reach who it's supposed to reach at the right time, because they are timeless messages. This could be about the past, present, or the future. I tap into multiple timelines and multiple groups in the collective at once, and the collective is everyone. That's why this is not sign specific. And some of you were wondering, I'm a professional astrologer, why don't I do readings for signs? Well, I'm an intuitively led person, and I believe that we are tapping into the collective, and whoever's being tapped into at the time is who Spirit knows needs to hear the messages the most. So no, I don't confine myself and put myself in boxes of a filming schedule, because, as I said before, I'm a creator, not a supplier. And if you're looking for somebody who is on a schedule, there are a lot of other people out there. I find that my work comes out best when it is impromptu and intuitively led and inspired. That's how I show up for my community. But I am consistent because I do release a couple of videos or recordings, whatever you want to call them, a week, along with keeping a consistent blog. When you go to the community page, I've got a nice amount of literature there. You can check out pictures, links, whatever. Okay, pulled the Four of Swords next to the Queen of Wands. Let's get back to the message. I felt like somebody needed to hear that. Somebody was wondering, so there you go. Hope that answers your questions. Four of Swords, so you're definitely waiting for some kind of manifestation, or you're not waiting, but you're resting. You're in receptive mode, because we don't wait for things. We keep living our lives, right? You can take a pause and not wait. I know that sounds confusing, but that's what meditation is. That's what mindfulness is, which I also speak on. Seven of Cups. 7-7 synchronicity now. I had a reading called 7-7 Angel. Check that out in the playlist description box and on the channel. considering options. You're going to go with whatever is for your highest and greatest good, though. We have the Eight of Swords down here underneath the Seven of Wands, and I was drawn away from it because it feels like Spirit is protecting you from getting stuck in your head, whatever that means. So you have a lot of, wow, stutter, interesting. You have a lot of divine protection, and I think somebody doesn't want you to know that. Some of you might be scared about some options or changes in your life, hence the stutter. I'm not, in my day-to-day life, I don't stutter. The only time my words get jumbled and messed up is when I'm channeling, and sometimes Spirit crosses the words, or I'll pick up on the energy of whoever I'm reading, which is what I'm doing as an energy reader, as an empath, and I'm picking up on multiple. Okay, so just because one message is a certain way doesn't mean it's your message, and it doesn't mean it's not. If the signs and synchronicities ring true to you, then that means pay closer attention, right? Trust that if you found this message, there is something here for you. And people say that, and there's a reason for it, because those are intentional readers. Those are the readers you want to pay attention to, because they're not just supplying readings to get readings out. They're supplying sacred information to specific people in the collective. And a lot of times these messages are so vast because the collective is vast. That's over 8 billion people in the world. And it's every conscious being. So perhaps not everyone is a conscious being for whatever reason. But I'm willing to bet that you're a conscious being if you're listening to this. Death underneath the Seven of Cups. Well, that's a death to option. It looks like some of you have made up your mind. You're no longer stuck in your head. Because we got the Four of Swords with Seven of Cups underneath, and then death. So a huge change is happening over your life right now. Yeah, you're no longer stuck. You totally know how to work your magic. You know how to nurture yourself so you don't let your burdens weigh you down. In fact, you don't have any burdens because you surrendered them all to Spirit. Wow, the Fool just jumped out at me. Interesting. So I did like a 2-minute pre-shuffle before I started this recording. And what's interesting was the first two cards, and I'm getting chills on my arms and my legs as I say this, which is Spirit confirming. The Fool is a new beginning, and the Devil is, well, bad juju. Okay, it's bad energy. It's not necessarily the devil itself. It's devil mind, it's addictions, it's obsessions, it's bad behaviors, karmic people, karmic behaviors, just things that are out of balance and not doing well for you, whatever, whoever, whenever it may represent, right? It could be you. You could be in devil mind, but this energy is not that. We're talking about a minuscule energy that is the outside of this, but I feel like you have fought hard in order to be able to be this secure with this kind of energy coming at you, because the Ten of Wands and the Ten of Swords, those are not. That's it with the devil. That's somebody intentionally trying to make you suffer, trying to give you things that didn't belong to you, that were actually supposed to be mutual responsibilities, not burdens, right? And the Ten of Swords is literally, it's somebody laying on with their face down in the dirt next to a shore with 10 swords in their back. It's betrayal, and it's by more than one person. But it's over with. It's over. And it's interesting because some of these energies, and I don't like to get stuck in karmic energies or invoke fear, so we're not going to go there, all right? We're not going to let that energy take over this beautiful reading, because we're not going to let it distract from the fact that we have something coming to you right now. Whoever you are, that represents either the Empress, the Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, or all three. Or the Devil. You could be the Devil and you've decided to transmute your energy. When I say the Devil, I mean that the representation of the card. Or you could be somebody who's healing devil-like behaviors. If so, and you've become this energy of the Empress and the two Queens, you're doing a really good job. So good job. I'm sensing no, because I just got mildly psychically attacked. No, we got a creeper. That's cool. You can go. I'm going to ring my bell in 3, 2, 1. I don't tolerate that. So what I was trying to say at the beginning here is in the pre-shuffle, the Fool in reverse came out with the Devil. Okay. And then the Devil in reverse came out. And then with the actual shuffle, we got the Ten of Wands in the beginning and then the Devil upright. So what I'm getting here is someone's got a very thick head and they're persistently trying to take your new beginning. Why? Probably because they don't know how to start their own and they're jealous. That's part of the Devil energy. We just got the Well now. The Well. Okay, so this deck, there are 2 cards, the Well and the Artist. Now, from what I understand, the Well, and I'm still learning this deck because I just got it like a month ago. The Well is the Empress 2.0. The Well is creation itself. It is being in creator mode. It is being, as Christians would say, Christ consciousness. It is being the I am, okay? It's interesting. I actually was reading a mantra last night for meditation, which is the Violet Flame mantra. And I'm feeling compelled to look at it and read it for everyone. One moment. My timer on my phone said 2323. That could be a synchronicity. Look it up. The angel number 2323. I might actually have that saved in my phone as well. One moment. Violet Flame affirmation. Okay, so if you are a more conscious being, you're a spiritual person, you believe in spiritual protection, you meditate, call upon the violet flame for absolute clarity and protection from all. The violet flame affirmation, there are different ones, but this is the one that really resonated with me, and I think it was a download for the collective for today. By the way, the moon is in Scorpio today. I always mention what the moon sign is in per reading because it shares the energy of the collective and what we're all feeling and processing as a community as a whole, right? Okay. So Scorpio goes deep, they go into the hidden, they go into the occult, and they are very wise and emotionally intelligent, okay? Anyways, violet flame affirmation. I am a being of the violet fire. I am the purity source desires. I am a being of the violet fire. I am a river of divine love. I am a being of the violet fire. I am a believer in sacred miracles. I am a being of the violet fire. I am a receiver of manifest blessings. And that one is by sagegoddess.com in case you were wondering. So I'm not going to look up 2323. Definitely do if you feel called to it. That's also breaks down to 5-5, change transformation, or 10. The last channeled message I did, which I will link at the end of this video and in the description box, goes into change. We had a lot of repeats of the number 3-3 and 5-5 in that reading. And something I didn't note because it was after the reading ended, when I looked at the clock, it was 10:10. And we got 10:10 to start this reading, and this is the reading I did right after that one. Obviously a few days have gone by, but they're connected energetically somehow. So definitely check that out if you feel called to it. I want to say I called it, well, you'll see it. You'll find it. I always link it. Anyways, it's not important. The Well, this is about creating something on your new beginning, okay? Just for the heck of it, we are going to pull from the book here so I can read the actual definition of the Well. Oh, I landed on the Artist, which we were just talking about. Okay, the Well card. XX2, so 22. 22 represents mastery. And that makes sense because the 21st card in the tarot, which is the last card, is 21, right? 21 is also a number of expansion and luck. I always associate it with Jupiter. Anyways, so the well. The astrological correlation, according to this book, is Gaia, is Earth. Now it's interesting. I've noticed Gaia and Ophiuchus coming up, or Ophiuchus, it depends on your pronunciation of it, coming up in the community, the spiritual community, as astrological planets or signs. They say Ophiuchus, or we'll just say Ophiuchus, is the 13th sign of the zodiac. This is all new stuff. This is not based on any traditional astrology or even Western modern astrology. These are concepts that are coming up in the new age. You can acknowledge them. This is how we create expansion and growth. Perhaps eventually we will integrate these concepts into our actual astrological language. But as far as I'm concerned, they're new concepts, and that's about all I can say about it. So as far as the validity of them in the system of astrology, in the tool that astrology is, they are not an actual thing, actually. Okay? So whatever you want to put into an energy, go ahead. If you want to imagine a 13th zodiac sign and you want to create a new zodiac structure, go for it. But know that it's not actually traditional astrology. It's not actually based in fact, not yet. And the reason why the Earth isn't typically represented in astrology is because we live on Earth, and all of the astrology is based on the positions of the planets outside of us, because outside of us is affecting us inside as far as being here on planet Earth. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If not, definitely, if you're curious, look into basic astrology to kind of learn more. All right. It's also like other things end up becoming trendy, and people create hype and myths that way, right? Like cusp signs, that's a myth. I've talked about that before. Cusp signs don't actually exist. It's actually talking about how two different signs can land in the same house. We have 12 houses in our zodiac. We have 12 signs in our zodiac, and every person has every sign, every position in different places in their chart, which makes every single chart very unique. I felt like that was important. We're talking about creation, we're talking about systems. Earlier we're talking about getting out of the box, expanding your horizons. Spirit's really asking y'all to be open and receptive, because you have some kind of information coming in. You have a huge change. You're on a new beginning. You're creating something magnificent. So now that we've covered that little extra information, we're going to look at this book here, right? 22 breaks down to 4, which is stability. The page is page 65, so 6-5 could be a significant number. June 5th could be a significant day. 11 could be significant. Archangel Metatron could be significant. And the number 2, which represents couple, unity, unity with source, unity with self, unity with other. Okay, so take that and apply it how it fits. Those all could be signs and synchronicities. So it says here, the well is the birthplace of ideas, inspiration, and transformation. I was just talking about creating your own reality, about change and transformation. Anyways, all things are birthed from the creatrix, whose knowledge flows freely to those who seek it. Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, my blog post last night, I hashtagged creatrix. You might want to check that out. And the date is, what, the 29th of August today? But again, this is a timeless message. I'm just telling you that in case you're catching it around real time and want to know which blog to check out. It's the one from the 28th. We're talking about being in the flow. We were talking about moving with the energy, adapting to change, not being stuck. So we've got a lot of very water energy I'm sensing here. Even though we've got a pretty balanced element here, I'm picking up strong water. Moving like water. Well, the well contains water, right? And the well can also go dry. So it's talking about the fluctuation between the times that you are feeling fulfilled and the times that you are feeling, I'm hearing decompensated. I don't know what that's about. I was going to say depleted, but decompensated came out. That's interesting. That can mean something for somebody. On this new beginning, you have to really think about what you're creating. And when we sit back and we receive, we allow the divine to show us signs, synchronicities, to be able to also accept our blessings. We have to remember that we don't have to keep pounding in the work, unless, of course, you've literally got a labor-intensive job, then that's different. We're talking about spiritual and life concepts here, okay? We're not talking about what you do for a living. We're talking about the spiritual work. And this is highly for higher vibrational people. That's not to put anybody down. If you're resonating with this at all or you're curious, you're on the right path. So don't put yourself down, okay? Like, remember, we're talking about spirits protecting you from this Eight of Swords, this being stuck in a mental prison. You have a way out, and it's through this new beginning. It's through your creation. It's through your ideas, and not looking back on the past. Don't worry about what these lower vibrational energies are doing here, okay? Because you are a manifester. We all are manifestors. We all can shape our reality based on our thoughts. As within, so without. These are basic universal laws. Google them if you want to know more, if you're curious, if that sounds interesting. Some of you are the hermit here. Some of you do have deeper studies that you are learning, or you are going into deep discoveries of the world. You're looking at possibly the matrix, because we do have the devil here and the hermit, which are both earth energies, and we happen to be in Virgo season right now. And again, if I mention astrology, it's because the modern astrology is actually affecting the energy of this reading. So even if you catch this reading later, think about the essence of Virgo season. What does that represent? We're talking about the sun being in Virgo. The sun is what's apparent. It's what's out there. But it's also only there for half of the day, or the day, right? So it's not always illuminated. And then Virgo is going inward. It is the hermit. It is somebody who pays close attention to detail and tends to, you know, live in a temple or a chapel, or keep to themselves, be very private, quiet, grounded, and consistent, right? So we're talking about shining a light on our daily habits, which also Virgo rules. And we're talking about exposing. What are we talking about exposing here, Spirit? Let's pull another card. Oh, hello. Nine of Pentacles. Wow. Well, how to be independent, how to be stable, how to nurture what we have already put effort to. This is another Virgo card. This is also an Earth card. It represents having an abundant life. So really, it's creating daily habits and shining light on things that actually nurture your environment that you can create with, not focusing on the shadows from the past. And we're talking about I'm feeling strongly for some of you, it's people from your past that are still trying to affect you, but honestly, they're so far in the background. The group here that I seem to be really honed in on, you're really focused on whatever you're creating, and you've got a lot to share. So it's definitely, Spirit's definitely saying focus on nourishing your abundance, feeling more stable and independent, or you've already accomplished this, right? And that's how you're able to have this new beginning. So going forward with this new beginning, you're already in the energy of this independence, of this stability, of this growth. You've got a lot around you to provide a wonderful life for yourself. Is there anything else we can tell this group of the collective about this new beginning? Is there anything we can speak on that will help guide their way in taking their next steps, right? I think that kind of answered how to transmute that energy from devil-like mind or devil-like people, karmic situations, and really continue to focus on nourishing something here, what you're building. And I think we're going to come back to this, night and 2 nights in a little bit here. 2 cards just went flying out and upside down, the 7 of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords. Okay. You've been very patient, diligently working on something while people have been speaking illy over your name. They have been trying to sabotage you. Some of them are in regret now. And also, Spirit wants you to know that the wait is over. The wait is over. I think you are about to graduate into the 8 of Pentacles, where you can absolutely focus on your work and focus on what you're creating and know that it is actually going to be very successful. So for some of you, you've just started to enter your blooming season. You've just started to really see the fruits of your labor. Well, not quite fruits, okay? We're not in full bloom yet, because we're in between the 7 and the 9 here, because we have the 9. That's what Spirit was saying to work on in order to get to that point, right? To be independent, you got to focus on your daily habits and focus on possibly changing what you focus on, right? So nourish what you want to create, not who's trying to destroy what you're creating, okay? And that could be in any way, in any shape, in any form. 5 of Swords typically represents people who are trying to sabotage you, who are trying to fight with you, or saying terrible things about you, who are trying to create negative change in your environment. It can represent gossip, slander, smear campaigns, malicious gossip, okay? Yeah, over here with the 7 of Cups, I feel like some people have casted illusions over you. However, this is all being exposed and the work is continuing. If you were feeling stuck, you're about to get rolling again. If we pull the Chariot, I'm going to be absolutely giddy. Ooh, no, but we pull the Wheel of Fortune, baby. Oh, I got so many chills right now. Wow. You're at the top of the wheel, and these people can't stop you. Good job. You've obviously worked very hard to be here. You had to overcome a lot, it looks like. You had to be very strong. And fortune is shining upon you. This is a positive change. This is guaranteed success. You are on path. You are on mission, whatever you want to call it. You are in alignment with your destiny here. But you have to remember that we all make choices, and those choices can affect our timelines. Right now, your trajectory is very good. But Spirit's saying, continue to work on redirecting your focus into what you want to nourish, not what is trying to sabotage you. And as long as you're able to work through those energies, get through change, stay flexible, try to not keep yourself in a box. It's good to have intentions, but you have to set them and then forget them. You have to let them go. And that comes back to this receptivity, feminine energy. Again, doesn't matter your gender. It's talking about once you've done the work, can you actually stop and receive? Now, when we ask this question, and I've done all this work, a lot of the things that Spirit is having me guide you through, I've personally been through, which is where part of this knowledge is coming from, is my experience. That's why I'm a guide, right? So I've gone through this journey, and it's difficult. That's how I know you've done such a great job, right? So as long as you continue to nurture instead of feed, does that make sense? You're going to continue on this timeline. But remember, this is a new beginning, and Wheel of Fortune can represent a new cycle, right? So I was talking about 22 being the card after the final Carl. Carl? Whoa, that was weird. Maybe somebody's named Carl? I don't know, that just came through. That was really strange. Okay, Spirit. Carl. Somebody like Carl's Jr.'s? I love their lettuce wraps. No, I'm not vegetarian. Sorry, y'all. I know. And I actually don't eat fast food that much. I used to love those, though. Lettuce wraps are delicious. Anyways, that was so random, breaking up the moment. We were talking about the World card as the last card in the tarot, right? It is... It is the beginning and ending of huge chapters, and the last channeled message we talked about exactly that. We started and ended the reading on beginnings and endings, and it was like we went through an entire cycle. It's a really beautiful channeled message. Definitely check it out if you feel called to it. Also, the number 110 keeps coming up, which is the beginning and ending. 1's beginnings, 10's endings, right? So that's coming up. Sometimes when cards aren't on the table, but the two surrounding bookending cards are, it's putting up the emphasis on where you are right now. If you're learning tarot, that might help you in a way. I do try to educate people. So we have to remember that we create our own reality, and there's a lot of people who are skeptical about that, and that's fine. People are welcome to their skepticism. I used to be skeptical. I used to be one of those people who was like, oh yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I was a pessimist, and then I had my third spiritual awakening, found my spiritual path, went through some really hard times, came out of it, and became closer with spirit because of it. And then I also came into my actual spiritual gifts, right? So if you are able to believe in little things every day, perhaps that's how you can fine-tune these thoughts, these daily habits. A lot of emphasis on the mental. Spirit is actually helping you fine-tune these things. I think I may have mentioned this in another reading because I work with archangels and other angels. Archangel Uriel is really great for working with your thoughts. Also your nervous system. So if you have any kind of anxiety or stress disorders, Archangel Uriel can actually help you transmute your thoughts. Okay, I've personally worked with Archangel Uriel with this. And if you don't know how to work with angels and you don't know anything about transmutation, definitely go back and check out some of my other readings to kind of get acquainted with my work. I now have about over 260 videos on this channel, and it's a variety of content. But ever since about February, I have become a stronger channel for Source, and we'll be doing more channeled messages going forward and tarot. Okay, blending my astrological gifts. So, you know, these things that we believe about ourselves do actually create our reality. Whether you want to say you're a magician and you believe in the law of attraction, or you're pagan, or you're Christian and you pray to God. Again, I'm a non-denominational channel, but I'm very open-minded here. However you receive your blessings, you co-create somehow. And if you're somebody who doesn't believe in that, then there's probably a reason you were brought to this content and you're still listening. It probably means, and I activate people, so if you don't want to know anything more, you should just leave this reading now. For those of you that are still here, it means that you have just entered a spiritual awakening, or you are becoming aware of a spiritual awakening. Or it's possible that you've already had one, but you went back to the 3D concepts of the matrix, of the physical world. And I'm not talking about conspiracy. If you are thinking that I'm speaking conspiracy, this is not your message. Maybe you should come back to this another day, okay? That is not at all what that is. We're talking about different realms of existence, what we create through our consciousness and what we experience tangibly in the physical world. That is the difference between the 3D and the 5D, okay? That's the easiest way Spirit and I can break it down. And then I just pulled the Magician card. Yeah, this is not a joke. You are creating your own reality. Spirit is trying to get everyone to understand that if they believe, if they surrender, if they trust the process, that says more about your belief, trust, and faith in yourself than it does about spirit. Because we are all united in spirit. We are all connected. We are all source. We are all spirit. We are all the divine. We are all human as well. Well, most of us. That's a topic for another day. So keep in mind that the ability for you to live in a magical reality is completely up to you. And we're not talking about delusions here. We're not talking about mental illness. We're not talking about delusions of grandeur, which, by the way, is a trait of people with personality disorders. I'm an advocate, so I speak on breaking stigmas. And I'll tell you, as somebody who came from a background where my spiritual soul was absolutely crushed by a certain authority figure who continues to slander and defame me to this day, that I have not spoken illy about. Just stating that I'm aware, and I'm done with the nonsense. I've done my healing, I've forgiven, I'm moving forward. And I feel like some of you have been through the same. Some of you have been through the same. Some of you had your inner child squashed by somebody that was supposed to protect you. Some of you lost that innocence. Some of you, and I'm not going into anything specific, so don't freak out here. I'm just saying that a lot of you had your ability to believe crushed. And in the last channeled message, we talked about belief. We talked about the Pisces North Node and how it's especially going to be illuminated and kicked off with this Pisces lunar eclipse. If you're catching this a couple months down the road, again, this is timeless. And my point is that eclipses typically last about 6 months, right? So that energy is going to carry us all the way to the new moon in Pisces, which will be at the beginning of next year. I haven't looked at the calendar yet, but it's either the end of February or the beginning of March. It depends on what part of the season it falls on, right? But we always have a new moon and a full moon in the same sign 6 months apart. That might be useful for some, right? So we're talking about the collective moving into these I believe mindsets which Pisces rules, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Now people like to give this sign a lot of shade because they don't understand it, because they don't know how to go deep, and that means that those people can work on their consciousness and expanding if they so choose. But we all have a choice. Again, going back to creating our own reality, we decide if we're going to take a chance to believe. We decide if we are worth trusting. Because when you don't trust the world, it says more about your lack of trust within yourself. It says that you believe that only bad things happen to you, that you're being punished, that the world is happening to you, which therefore you're giving all your power away to everything that hurts you. So Spirit's emphasizing this here with the Devil card. Spirit's emphasizing this, that you've come out of that chapter. You have worked so hard to not be around those energies, whatever that is. You know who you've become. You know what you've been creating. You've been doing it in private. You've been doing it mostly in secret with the Hermit card. And now that we are in Hermit energies, Virgo energies in this season, that's all getting illuminated. You also want to remember that with the South Node in Virgo, Pisces polar opposite, right? We're talking about what we're already comfortable with and what we need to leave behind, transmute, transform into the Piscean energy. Now, we're not saying that Virgos don't believe or the Virgo energy doesn't believe. That's not it at all. It's more about the focus, right? Virgo energy is very honed into the details. It's always, it can be a perfectionist, the energy, right? We're not talking about specific people. We're talking about energies here. It can be about your due diligence and really looking at all the finer print and being very rational, being very skeptical, studying something deeply. Well, Pisces is talking about just be a fish, be free, just flow. Trust intuition, trust source, trust faith. Let go of these categories, this, what I want to say, where are you going with this, Spirit? Channeling here. self-concepts that are limiting, that are putting you into a box, right? I talked a little bit about that in my last channeled message. Again, I'm not going to go back to it. I'm just going to keep going where Spirit's trying to take us here. So we're talking about compartmentalization, right? Some of you need to actually integrate, not compartmentalize, because integration is about coming into union with Spirit, and Pisces being the 12th sign of the zodiac, being the elder of the zodiac, having embodied every single sign, can actually mold into anything, like water in a cup, water in a tub, water in the ocean. Water can flow free. Water can hydrate. It can bring life. It can also flood and submerge. Trigger warning, I hope that doesn't affect anybody who's gone through the floods. I'm a sensitive soul. If you found that annoying, well, take a deep breath. Anyways, water can be whatever you want to make it. It can also dissipate. It can dissolve. So water can help you dissolve the past. Water can help you purify the present. Water can help you fulfill your future. Okay, so we're very much talking about that. I did say that I would get into this stuff, and I'm getting chills on my arms, and the hair is standing up very tall on my arms. That is Spirit confirming that we are on the right track here. I had planned on doing my September Astro Highlights, Luna Notes, and Psychic Oracle read, and Spirit's been having me fall back into the flow, which is, you would think it's ironic, because I'm a Pisces sun. I should be able to go with the flow like nothing else, right? I should be my little fishy self. However, the thing people forget about Pisces is they are actually two fish going in opposite directions, right? Now that can also represent as above, so below, and also they come back together. I'm seeing the, what is it, the lemniscat, the figure 8, right? I'm seeing the eternal loop. So a flow of abundance. Living in the flow of abundance, having an abundance mindset. How do you do that? You focus on all the things that you used to tear yourself down with, which most likely were thoughts and feelings projected onto you in your childhood or early experience that you eventually said to yourself. We talked about this a couple readings back, about how whatever you say to your children, whether you're a parent or not, this is just a concept, whatever you say to your children becomes their inner critic later, right? So the most terrible things that our children say to themselves as adults, we taught them. It's time to be accountable. It's time to say, you know what? I wasn't always kind to myself. I continued family patterns that were not healthy. I did not want to do the work, and I continued to cause mental issues upon myself. And yes, the people who raised me definitely are accountable, but you can't force people to take accountability. They have to choose to be brave enough to stand in the light, speak their truth, and say, I effed up. I deserve to heal. I am brave enough to say that my children deserve to heal, and I'm going to take the steps necessary. It's similar, I'm catching for some of you, perhaps you have dealt with substance abuse in your life somehow, whether it was a parent or a family pattern, or you yourself have overcome it. If so, congratulations. If you've also taken accountability for your life, if so, congratulations. If you are a parent and you are learning to be a better one, if so, congratulations. If you aren't any of the above, thank you for holding space. Everyone has a different role, a different purpose in this life. That's one reason why boxes are not necessary, because if we are able to go with the flow and discover our true purpose, our true path, then we can fill up a space. Then we can build something. Then we can create foundations. I'm getting a reference to my Building Foundations series. I recently linked that a few videos back. I feel like some of you are getting overwhelmed. Let's all take a deep breath. And I'm going to teach you a new breath. It's called a box breath. I do breath work. It helps me in my life. I think it'll help you. Obviously, if you don't have strong lungs, don't do this, okay? Only do it if you feel called to. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in, and then on the exhale, we're going to pretend it's like a little leaky balloon, right? And we're going to slowly, in 4 pauses, let it out, hold it, let it out, hold it, let it out, hold it, let it out all the way. Okay? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, in. Out. How do you feel? You should feel like a little bit of weight just came off. I would not recommend doing that more than twice in a row because you can get really lightheaded doing it. But, you know, it's a useful one, let me tell you. It brings you back to the present moment. I feel like I just cleared some of that anxious energy. And, you know, if you aren't used to emotional regulation or acknowledging family systems and patterns, well, then it's going to make you uncomfortable. We're talking about adapting to change. Oh, now a card wants to come out. The 8 of Pentacles. Look at that. Oh, wow. Wow, 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 y'all. Wow. Okay. We were talking about how you're about to be the 8 of Pentacles. This is how you graduate to doing the work every day. And again, we're transmuting the name work into service now. When you're doing what you love, and you have worked, you have put in the work, okay? You've already done your due diligence. We're talking about what we've done in the past with the Virgo South Node. Then you provide a foundation so you can dive off into your new beginning. It's like, it's not that you're abandoning ship by going with the flow. It's not that you're saying, oh, all these things could happen to me now. Oh gosh, no, that's called control issues. It's okay. It's all right. Why do you think it's difficult for me to go with the flow? Actually, I take that back. It is no longer difficult for me to go with the flow because I challenged myself, and spirit challenged me, and life challenged me to adapt to any circumstance. And to come from a place of not hypervigilance where you're constantly fearing the outcome, but you're actually accepting the help from spirit. You're accepting the intelligence. You're trusting yourself enough to know that you can handle anything that comes up at any moment, and you don't have to barrel through it. You can be steadfast. You can be like the Knight of Pentacles I'm seeing in my mind's eye, Knight of Pentacles. You can be steady, consistent. We talked about that energy a lot in our last several readings. So once you have created this kind of stability in your life by clearing karmic cycles, by loving yourself, by being consistent and acknowledging where you've done the work, so you can just be in the flow, right? That's why people are successful with whatever they do of service, we're going to call it, right? Because when you're doing something you love, that you are born to be, that you know you are great at, that fulfills your soul, that gives you a sense of meaning, then you get to be in the flow. And it's possible for every single one of you. And if you are feeling angry about this message, perhaps, and some people are going to absolutely just get very upset with me, and that's all right. I'm going to transmute your energy. You can learn to do that too. But if you're getting upset and you're saying, well, of course she can do this, and you're making assumptions about me and my life, don't. Because you don't know what I've been through. You don't know how hard I had to work. And that's the thing, to transmute, to feel like you always have to rush through things and you always have to do things to death. That's part of the toxic work paradigm. So start looking at it as, what do I love to do because it gives me meaning? Then you're being of service, right? And guess what else Virgo rules? Being of service. How have you been of service? Perhaps that's where your gifts lie. Did you think about that? And if you're thinking about not wanting to do the work because you don't want to do the work because you're afraid that the work's going to continue, guess what's going to happen? You're going to create more blocks for yourself, and you're going to have to keep doing the work, right? Because resistance creates more resistance on your outside reality. As within, so without. We also project that onto other people. We create paradigms. We recreate relations with other people. Through our sense of reality. Some of you might be going, oh, well, and I'm picking up on projections right now. It's one of my psychic gifts. I'm choosing to pick up on them. They used to overwhelm me. Now I choose what I filter in, and I do transmute it so it doesn't linger. My point is some of you are thinking, well, this, and this, and this, and this is terrible in my life. Sure, I'm sure it is. You think I didn't go through that too? Anybody who has, quote unquote, done the spiritual work most likely came from harsh circumstances, unless you are one of those fortunate souls that came into this life with less karmic situations and had a nurturing upbringing and chose to be a good person and chose to follow your pursuits. Even those people can come to a crossroads and go, this life I built for myself was quite comfortable, but I don't feel fulfilled, right? And we're talking about being like water. If you want to fulfill something, you have to start with yourself. And when you have nurtured yourself, you can nurture in your environment. You can be in this Empress energy. So I feel like this is kind of a side message to somebody who doesn't feel like they're quite in this energy and might be feeling a little envious or jealous. And yes, I just got a stabbing pain in my forehead, so that was confirmation of that psychic attack. Remember, our projections do actually affect people energetically, which means other people can affect us. Now, that doesn't mean anybody is a victim or anybody is a perpetrator. It just means that we all have a choice on how we act, how we think. Regardless of what you believe is possible, do you believe that? Do you believe your actions have consequences? Are you a good judge of character? Can you trust yourself? How do you master discernment? Follow your intuition. Be like water. Flow. We were talking about spiritual Aikido the other day. For those of my soul group that are spiritual warriors, as I am, I've been speaking on spiritual Aikido, and I shared a quote in one of my blogs recently from actually Astrology from the For the Soul book, which talks about the north and south nodes of every sign, by the way. It's a really big, like 600-page book. So if you're an astrologer or you're interested, definitely check out that book. Anyways, the quote, and pull another card here, Ace of Cups. Wow. This is a blessing of divine love and union. Yeah, that's how you accomplish that. Like water, you move. You don't attack, you don't counterattack. You defend yourself, but you defend yourself by getting out of the way. That is what spiritual Aikido is instead of getting stuck and letting somebody keep you on a loop, or somebody's, with their negative projections, thoughts, actions. And for some of you who are in the spiritual world, spells, which also speaking over someone's name negatively is a form of verbal witchcraft of speaking spells, because energy affects everyone. Keep in mind that you are a match to your environment. So if you hang out with people who gossip all the time, you yourself are a match to that. What does that say about you? Ace of Cups, this is a new love. It could be love, it could be romantic. I feel like this is talking about self-love, which it also represents. This is the gift of self-love. This, for some of you, that's what you've been working on with the Ace of Pentacles. I mean, the Eight of Pentacles. I don't know why I said Ace. Maybe we're going to pull that too. I did have a reading where we got all 4 aces about a month ago. Ace of Pentacles. Somebody wants to build with you and love you. I just got for somebody. Wow, 4 of Cups. Some of you don't see this coming though. Some of you do not see this coming. It looks like we're done with that message about regulation and thoughts and manifestation. This is one of the things I talk on. It's very specific to my channel. I combine advocacy, mindfulness, I combine creativity, transmutation, woo-woo, astrology, tarot, oracle, and psychic information channeled from spirit. Kind of a mixed bag, which is amazing, you know? It's amazing because I can actually tap into multiple different aspects of the collective and myself, who happens to be a very old soul, and provide something of substance to many different people. If you do know of any other readers or whatever you want to call it, I would love to network with like-minded people. I just pulled the Three of Wands. Okay, so we pulled the Two of Wands earlier, which we were talking about manifesting, waiting for your ships to come in. Guess what? Your ships are coming in. I just got full body chills, especially on my back. Someone may approach you and put their hand on your back. That sounded creepy, but I feel like it was a comforting touch, like a friend, like reassuring you that it's going to be okay. Something really great is coming for you. It is a sense of community. It is something that you have been trying to manifest for a long time, and you don't see it coming. Some of you might want to work on gratitude practices and being more in the present moment, meditating, thinking about everything you already have, and being in the attitude of gratitude in order to receive. And again, you don't need to do anything. Whatever this is, it's already on its way to you. And I can't say when it's on its way to you, and I certainly am not going to tell you that because, again, everybody's on a different timeline, and one choice can change your timeline. And that's not to scare anybody, that's to make you aware of living an intentional life if you actually want to manifest and direct it. Therefore, in a weird way, you do end up controlling your destiny, but you aren't a control freak. Does that make sense? Strangely enough, by going and surrendering to the flow, you actually end up being able to create the reality you want, but you accept that you're doing it with spirit. Now, as somebody who used to be agnostic and even atheistic at one point in my life, and that was due to, quite frankly, being church hurt, which I did heal that wound in me, but I'll say that I used to be somebody who felt like I would be giving up my independence if I believed in God. I used to be one of those, and that was many years ago. And I tended to associate with a lot of people who didn't have faith or were more pagan leaning because I've always been open-minded, and also I am a witch. If you don't like that, thanks for hanging in. Have a great day. Anyways, I used to not believe in any of this stuff. I have completely transformed my life over the course of, I'd say, 15 years. And it doesn't mean that that's how long it's going to take you on your timeline, okay? If you're resonating with being in this energy, this is probably happening for you in the near future. I know some of you want a timing. I do actually have timing cards, but the reason I don't like to do timing cards is for a couple reasons. When you're manifesting, you don't want to hold on to your manifestation. You have to let it go, and you got to master that skill, right? Which means you also need to lurk? Whoa, lurk. Someone could be lurking on you right now. Excuse me one moment. I'm going to ring the bell. 3, 2, 1. Interesting. But who cares? Who cares? Just protect your work, protect your vision, protect your manifestations. Remember to, when you are creating something, as excited as you may be when you start to see the signs and synchronicities of coming in for you, it's best to keep it to yourself. And the reason is projections. And you do have people in your energy who are happiness haters, we'll just put it like that, who are trying to intervene with your happiness for whatever reason. Perhaps some of them try to compete with you, and then they realize that there was no competition because, first of all, you aren't playing games, and second of all, they aren't actually trying. If these people want to spend all their time and focus on putting in all the work on causing harm to you instead of just putting in the work in themselves, then let them exhaust themselves. Let them go on their own loop. That's not your burden. We started this reading with the Ten of Wands next to the Devil. You're putting down other people's burdens, and that includes how they've made you feel about yourself that isn't true. If they're not in your life, they don't deserve to be in your energy. Simple. Cut them off. Move on. You're either on your way to creating this for yourself because of what you're doing, or you're already stepping into it. Some of you are about to receive huge blessings and you know it, and I'm getting chills as I say that. So just keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, and be grateful. It's that simple. Be like the hermit. We are in hermit mode. We are at the end of summer in the States and the beginning of fall soon to come, right? We are in a liminal space of a liminal space. 9-9 just came to my mind again. That synchronicity was coming up earlier. 9 is a number of graduations, of overcoming, of getting close to the end, the closing of a chapter. It's also about celebrations. 9-9, yet again, repeating number. It's a mirroring number. And of course, breaking it down, it enters into 9 again, because, yeah. So, some of you are graduating, or you have just graduated spiritually, okay? So congratulations. It's due to your diligence and your hard work, but now it's time to embrace the Pisces North Node. It's time to embrace the flow. And the song saying just be easy. I don't know if you can hear that. Be easy. And I'm getting chills again. This is really powerful. Be your own guide, but allow Spirit to guide you. You're not giving up your freedom by believing in a higher power. You're actually choosing to believe in yourself because you feel a sense of camaraderie that you've never felt with anything else. And when you realize that we're all connected to Spirit, and when we realize that we all have the potential to actually live our best lives, and that's actually what Spirit wants for us. Spirit actually wants us to believe. They've been wanting me to channel this through. Spirit wants us to create. Spirit wants us to be happy. And we have to pretty much decondition ourselves from the past, come through the other end, and we are all at different places in our journeys. But it all comes down to choices. Did anyone ever read those books, Choose Your Own Adventure? I used to read those books. I'd go to the library and read those books. And I love those books. That's actually one thing that inspired my title, Tarot Quest, right? Because I'm also a guide, and I have a conjunct Aries and Venus and Mars. And I'm a 9th house Pisces, which rules, 9th house rules Jupiter, Sagittarius, the adventure, long distance travel, etc., etc. You get it. I'm a guide, okay? And I try to help people understand that sometimes the terrain is rough, but you are never alone. You are never alone. No matter how alone you feel, you are never alone. Ask the universe for signs and synchronicities, and then slow down enough to pay attention. Because when you are living a fast-paced, busy life all the time, and you are grinding yourself down, and you are letting the world consume you whole, and this could be your responsibilities, it could be your family, your friends, your social circle, your work, it could be your house, it could be a project you're working on, it could be politics, it could be global effect, it could be the weather, it could be your home situation if you don't have one. You know, it could be all kinds of things. Everybody's burdens are different. Spirit's saying, put down your burdens. Let them go. They're no longer serving you. They're actually what are keeping you stuck. And that sounds insane, right? Like, how do you just abandon ship? And that's the thing, you're not abandoning ship. You're not. You're actually choosing to assist yourself by believing and creating your own reality. The hardest thing is that in-between phase in manifestation, when you're going from, this is insane, there's no way this is going to work, to, you know, I've been doing this a while and I am kind of seeing things actually change. okay, well, let's keep giving this a try. Then that transforms into, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. That was like exactly what I asked for. It took a month to come in, but it was exactly what I wished for. And you know what's funny is the moment I stopped thinking about it, the moment I stopped getting readings on it, the moment I stopped dwelling on all the terrible things that could happen and I actually released it, it came in. And then that goes to, oh my gosh, what else can I create? What else can I do? I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. And this was actually my experience over years, but it takes some people longer, some people shorter. It just depends on where you're at with the journey, right? No judgment on anyone, including myself. It's good to forgive ourselves, right? And sometimes certain things don't come in the way we want, and that's because Spirit is co-creating with us. And one thing I've learned is with going and adapting, going with the flow, and accepting change is that it is always working out for us in our favor. And when you believe that, you look at it not like, oh, well, I'm expectant that everything is going to go well. No, you look at it as everything is a lesson. And when you can see the lesson and the message in every experience, you can see how it actually did work out for you in your favor, right? So an example is you forget something at home, you go back home even though you're really irritated because now you're going to be late for work, but then you don't get hit by a car. You get what I'm saying? That stuff actually does happen in real life where people avoid tragedy because they trusted their intuition, okay? It also helps people navigate. Think about it. Back in the day when we were all living in the wilderness, our species, right? Why do you think witchcraft was so powerful? Why do you think it's called folk craft? How do you think that came to be? It didn't come from the devil. It came from the land. It came from spirit. It came from a sense of survival. There were those that went out and protected the village with their hands, and there were those that spoke to spirit and gave the guidance to the ones that fought with their hands. There is a place for the spiritual, there is a place for the mundane, and they coexist. And each and every one of us has a different purpose in this life, okay? And you can find that purpose. You can do that. It does exist. It's just up to you on whether you want to find that purpose. Or are you content to stay where you are? If you are, then it's just not your time yet. Accept it. Forgive yourself. And, go back to your routine. Stop listening to readings. If you're going to dedicate yourself to the Matrix, well then, dedicate yourself to it. Enjoy your life. I wish you well. Wow, I pull the Two of Swords in reverse. Some of you have already made the decision to follow your bliss, so to speak. You've already made the decision to stop blocking this, and I say congratulations to you. Some of you are putting down your guard, and that's good, because that's how we learn to trust. I'm not saying let things happen to you. There's a way that you can protect yourself without having to fight for everything. Does that make sense? And that comes from healing trauma, by the way. The Emperor in reverse. Yeah, some of you feel like you have no authority or control over your domain. Some of you feel like you are victim to circumstance. And look, we all got to do things sometimes in our life that we don't like to do. Like perhaps you had to get a second job, or perhaps you had to change locations to get a better paying job, or perhaps you can't get a job and you're homeless. We'll just use those as examples, right? Perhaps you feel like things keep happening to you. Well, when things keep happening to you, when you're experiencing tower moments after tower moments, by the way, I just released, I believe, the last video I just uploaded, which might have been that channeled message, was how to make tower moments work for you, okay? And for those of you that don't know, the tower in the tarot represents dramatic change, unexpected change, and we've been talking about that a lot with astrology, with Uranus, the planet of unexpected change, being in Gemini, which rules communication, short distance travel, right? Anyways, and many other things. Some of you really need to look at where you are trying to force things to make them work because you feel like you have no control over your environment or no say. Where do you feel disempowered, and how can you transmute that into positive power? Okay? And it has nothing to do with everybody else and everything to do with the self. So don't think about what you feel like people are doing to you. Look at what you are allowing to be done to you. And ask yourself, why am I not respecting myself? Because that's what it comes down to. And I told you I give real talk here. All right. I also channel multiple different energies at once, not only the collective, but my guides that I work with. So we've got an interesting gamut of energies. Okay. They're all safe. It's all for your highest and greatest good. So don't worry. All right. I think that was like this primary message of this reading. I'd like to wrap this up. However, I did promise y'all we would talk about this offer that's coming in. So those of you that actually made it through the spiritual message, this is kind of your reward, you could say. We get to have fun now. Are you ready? It's about balancing light and shadow, everyone. That's been my personal spiritual training that I have come out of, is establishing temperance, okay? Being able to balance in any environment because I'm balanced within the self. Again, as within, so without. Wow, okay, so we pulled the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. We were talking about the Knight of Pentacles, about being steadfast. And we now have 3 out of 4 knights on the table. I'd say there's some kind of delay, or something is trying to stop or delay this. I feel like that's connected to the 5 of Swords in reverse and the Devil. So yeah, there's still energies that are trying to corrupt whatever this is coming towards you, Spirit. What do you want us to know about that? That is for the highest and greatest good. We aren't looking to get stuck in karmic cycles and talk about their energy, because this isn't about them. They're just a little side note. They may think they're the main character, but by being destructive and trying to harm other people, they're actually making themselves the size of an ant. And that's their fault, not yours. Page of Cups in reverse. Someone's trying to stop some kind of apology or small offering. The Moon. They're trying to make it to where you can't see, but everything is about to be revealed. So I'm getting a side message for those of you that have literally had people try to sabotage your progress, or whatever this message or person, or I'm guessing for some of you it has to do with love, whatever's coming towards you. They're about to be exposed. What does Spirit have to say about that? The Star in reverse. I just noticed my cards got turned upside down. That's significant. And then I see the Sun and the 3 of Cups. Holy shnikes. I was seeing the Sun in my mind's eye when I said exposed. I'm getting chills. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 3 of Cups and the Sun. This was a group who tried to take your light. And they are about to be exposed if they haven't already. So justice is coming, whoever you are. Justice is coming. Yeah, Knight of Wands with the 6 of Swords under that. It's coming in swift, it's coming in hot, and it's coming in right. Perhaps this person is bringing you your justice. This could not be about love, but this could be about a quality of life that's changing because of something you learned, because somebody was loving enough to come forward with the truth. 6 of Swords can represent travel, especially with the Knight of Wands, so that could be confirming this Knight of Cups here, and also the Knight of Swords. And it's also Spirit bringing you to calmer waters. You have a swift change for some of you. So this is why Spirit has been preparing you to get ready for change, to rest, to receive. Because when this starts, it's going to happen quick. Interesting. 6 of Pentacles and the 5 of Pentacles on the split here. Someone is going to be generous And it's because you chose to get yourself out of a lack mentality. You are now in alignment with more abundance. Take that abundance however you want. It can mean anything in your life. It doesn't have to be money. But because it is pentacles, I'm guessing spiritual wisdom and physical abundance. If some of you were waiting on some kind of assistance, it's coming. King of Cups. Wow. Wow. For some of you, this is a deeply loving person who's very emotionally intelligent. I don't know if that means they're a love offer or if they're a friend or possibly a parent or I don't know who this person is for you, okay? I could read into it, but I don't know if I want to go down that route right now. I don't think it's really important because I feel like this is a collective message. I'll remind you that it's going to apply to different situations. But I do feel like somebody wants to know in the collective, and the Spirit is guiding me to give a little more guidance on who this person is. That Ten of Pentacles. Holy wow. Well, they know their worth, they know their value, and they have a lot to offer. They want to build with you. This could also be a business partnership for some of you. Oh, I love this song. Happy. Talk about raising the vibes. Get happy. Get happy. Get freaking happy about this, y'all. Whatever this says, it's time to get happy. Yeah, if you hung in, you definitely deserve this message. Someone's about to build with you. They're going to create something with you. That could be a life. It could be a business. It could be an opportunity. It could be music. It could be creativity. It could be... I'm picking up on all kinds of things. Is there anything else you want to say about that, Spirit? If you hung in, this is Spirit rewarding you. I just pulled the 10 of Cups, and guess what, everyone? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm getting full body chills. 10, 10, 10, 10. 10, 10, 10, 10. Every 10, every completion, everything you want is here on the table. Everything you want is here on the table. All you got to do is receive, baby. It's all coming. Conclusion of weights that were not yours to carry, conclusion of betrayal, conclusion of financial constraints, and conclusion of wondering who your true soul family is, because it's all here and it's coming, and it has to do with this person. It's time to celebrate. And you know, if there are any cross watchers listening to this message, know that you're about to be exposed, and if you persist and continue to try to destroy other people's lives instead of creating your own, well, I hate to see what Spirit has in store for you, because that's going to suck a lot, especially if you did a lot of things that I'm picking up in this reading. Every last thing you did is going to come back to you exactly in the way you put it out there, and that can be good or bad. For those of you that have actually focused on creating a better life for you, have overcome challenges, and have stopped dealing with people from the past that are not healthy people, you're being rewarded by Spirit. Yeah, 5 of Wands. Someone's going to try to fight you over it. Don't give it any mind. Don't give it any attention. Just transmute that into inspiration to focus on next moves. Put it into your visions. Put it into your vision board. What do you not necessarily want to fight for, but what do you want to... It's another word of saying it. Spirit, help me out here. Ooh, 5 of Cups, 5-5. Big change and transformation. Wow. Interesting. Now we have 5-5-5 on the table. 5 of Cups, 5 of Wands. The 5 of Swords in reverse. So that's been put a stop to. Any slander, defamation, or gossip, that's being exposed for sure. Anybody who spoke illy over you, or try to control narratives or destroy your life or use negative projections, intentions, or for some of you spellcraft in the dark ways, they're being exposed. I think there's an emphasis here that this isn't going to happen to you anymore. If you decide to accept this offer that's coming towards you from this person, this King of Cups, you have decided to accept your destiny. And that means you've already accepted it. If you're in alignment with it, you've already accepted it. So congratulations on the work. This change, you will never have to go through that again. And again, I don't know who this person is to you. Just pulled the Page of Wands. It's somebody who inspires you. It's a new learning opportunity for some of you. It's also a new adventure. And it's a passionate message for some of you. What else do you have to say, Spirit? Nine of Swords. Whoa. And the World just came out sideways. Get a little more clarity on who this energy is about, Spirit. The Artist. Oh, we talked about the Artist was the other card. Okay. Interesting. I don't get that this is what's going to happen to you, because those of you that know tarot know that these are not the best cards. These are kind of negative cards, the fives and the nines and all that. Whatever these people tried to do to you to ruin your world, whatever that means for you, they can't anymore. You're heavily protected. Anything they try, they're actually just going to be causing more harm to themselves. And quite frankly, people who work like this, they're wounded children inside. There are people who are too scared to do the healing, so they try to act tough and overcompensate and control other people, and then they become toxic, and then there's no excuse, especially when you're an adult. And it doesn't matter if you're working in the dark or the light. If you're being corrupt, it's going to come through eventually. You know, sometimes people don't experience their karma until way later in their life, if they are fortunate enough to live a long life. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, because Spirit will give people, good and bad or neutral, whatever you want to consider your morals, ethics, and decisions. Spirit will give everybody a chance to change their fate. They will present opportunities. They'll present challenges that seem like problems but are actually opportunities to pivot. Again, if you know that everything is working out for you in your favor, you can see the lesson in everything and go with the flow and trust the process. There are reasons why these sayings are cliche. It's because they're mantras. They're empowerment. You're at a very pivotal point. Some of you might get scared and close your heart. And that's exactly what these energies of the past want you to do. But I feel like Spirit is protecting you from doing that, because we had the Eight of Swords here earlier that was next to the Seven of Wands. I just looked at my timer and it said 13434. So 3434 could be significant for you. Also, before I started this message, I saw 333 on the clock. We were talking about 333 and 33s being significant. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what these people think or want about you, because, you know, if you've taken the steps, they're not in your life. They may be trying to be in your energy, but you're protected from them. There's nothing they can do. They can't change your world. This person can, however, who's coming in, and I think this Artist card actually represents them. We're going to look at the book here. It's funny because I landed on the Artist earlier when I was looking up the Well, right? I feel like the Well represents you and the Artist represents this person, and I just got chills again, Spirit confirming. So page 67, 6-7, June 7th, could be significant. The Artist, card number 23. Number 23 could be significant. At the beginning, I did mention angel number 2323. Look that up. It might mean something for you. And it doesn't matter which message comes from whichever you see when you look up these things. It's whatever you're intuitively guided. That's your message, right? It's kind of like a tarot reading. You got to use your discernment. Know what is for you and what isn't. You can practice your intuition. A simple hack, a simple way to practice your intuition is to do the red-black playing card practice. So essentially what you do is you get playing cards and you pull them out, and before you see the cards you call it red or black, red or black, red or black. And it doesn't matter if you get it wrong or right, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and eventually you may just surprise yourself and almost always call it. And if you get really good at it, you can blow people's minds. And I'll leave it at that. The artist. So we were talking about Ophiuchus or Ophiuchus, however you want to pronounce it. And that is the representation of this card. Yet again, that's not an actual zodiac sign, but who knows, maybe it will be in the future. So that to me kind of represents the possibility or the blending of all signs, but the 12th, the Pisces sign, already represents that. So I'm not against it or for it. I just don't know what I think about it yet. I just thought I'd educate some people there. So this card says, the artist is the vessel of creation. This card signifies humankind and shows when you need to open to the knowledge that is available if you stop and set aside the distractions of the human condition and listen. Wow. It also represents the visionary. That tied everything up so well, and I'm getting chills yet again. You are the creator and this person is the vessel. It's interesting because you are in the receptive energy and they are in the active, yet they're actually presenting as the receiver and you are presenting as the actor. Does that make sense? You both balance each other out. If this is a union of some kind, which we did get the King and Queen of Wands earlier, and we did get the Empress and the Emperor in reverse, but those were for different readings on the energy. So it's like, what I'm getting is this person is your match. And again, it could be a friend, it could be a business opportunity, it doesn't have to be love. But I feel like this is for someone specific at the end here who hung in. This is your match, and they're coming in to assist. And because you are trusting and you are worthy and you know that everything you have created for yourself by choosing to believe. And, you know, I feel like the divine are going to make you an example for these people. And the thing is that I don't think the divine are doing that to punish people. Again, everything is happening for you, not to you. It's about your mindset, right? Even the artist card talks about that, right? So I feel like even for those people who are in the shadows, hating on you when you have nothing to do with them because you're focusing on yourself, you're following your guidance, you're protected. I feel like Spirit's going to show them, not because they want to destroy them, because they need to know that they can do it too. And if they stop choosing to hate people and love themselves, they can create that for themselves too. And I just pulled the Six of Pentacles again. Yeah, Spirit wants to be generous with you. Spirit wants you to be generous with yourself. And how do you achieve something? You get yourself in the energy of something and you become a match to it. And then you receive. And then you take action with that. And you don't get stuck in the past. That's how you manifest. That's how you achieve. I think that's an excellent place to leave this reading. I thank you for joining me. I just want to make a couple quick announcements for my regular subscribers. Also, if you have not subscribed and you really appreciate these in-depth kind of quests, you could call them, I would love it if you joined our community. It's free right now, but I will be building that Patreon community. I've expressed that I've got a lot of stuff going on right now in my personal life. So this is a side message for my community. If you are done with the reading, thank you. Please give the video a like to support the channel. drop a star emoji in the comments, whatever. Real quick, I'm going to clear the energy with a bell, and then I'm going to finish those announcements. 3, 2, 1. Oh, countdowns and counting up. I've been seeing 3, 2, 1 and 1, 2, 3 on the clock the last few days. That's another synchronicity. All right. I still have the cards. They're trying to come through. I am going with the flow. I am being challenged by Spirit to not have a normal routine, and that's going to drive some of you crazy. But you know what? It's also going to teach you how to go with the flow. If you can trust that you're going to receive what you need from me at the right time, just as I'm trusting I'm doing the same, then we really are in this together. And I'm not trying to challenge anybody. What I'm doing is challenging myself. And if you are on this ride with me, if you are here to grow, to evolve, to expand, to ascend, and to accept your destiny, whatever that may be for you, then take things one step at a time. Okay? Trust the process. Trust that I'm not going anywhere. Sometimes we all got to take more time for self-care. And that's one thing in the last couple weeks that Spirit reminded me of. I almost started slipping into old, we'll say, inherited behavioral patterns of rushing and being weighed down by burdens and getting stuck in old ways of thinking. And then I just said, screw it. I'm putting all my burdens down. I'm just going to go with the flow and see what happens. Because I've tried it the old way over and over and over again. Why not give it a try this way? And I gotta say, I'm so glad that I have. And in fact, I've had some upgrades to my abilities because I stopped to receive. And I have been on the ascension path for a while now. So I haven't decided how I'm going to craft my process. All I know is that I'm going to stay flexible. And if you want somebody who gives readings every Wednesday and Saturday and this and that, well, I mean, how many freaking readers are there on YouTube? Probably thousands, maybe even 100,000. I don't know if there's that many, but who knows? We got over 8 billion people in this world. So I'm not here to please everyone. I'm here to serve. And sometimes those of us that, and I'm not saying it's a burden to lead in a community. What I'm saying is that some of us who have more responsibility, experience with this process, know when it's time to go inward. And I will not stop respecting my inner process to produce, to make the outer world satisfied with what they expect I should do. And that's a message for somebody. So what does that mean? What am I talking about? There's some things going to be shifting. I wanted to create some consistent pieces that I released every month, like my astro video. And I still plan on doing that. However, I'm being guided to change the format and layout, and that it may be coming out a few days after the beginning of the month. I always try to publish that within a handful to a week in advance of at the end of the month or at the beginning. However, again, Spirit is guiding me to release any attachment to any set ways of doing anything so I can be guided into the best outcome. And that guidance is protected. I have a side note for someone specific. This is from Spirit. Are you ready? It didn't work. Stop trying. You are embarrassing yourself. For the rest of the class, do not give power to those that try to take yours away. Call your power and energy back to you. I mean that literally. Imagine white light flooding back to you. Claim it as your own. Imagine it filling you with such joy and happiness, and rise above the garbage. because these people don't get to control you. I don't care what they think. Those are delusions of grandeur. Your faith is not a delusion of grandeur. Your faith is evidence that if we believe that we are willing to work with others, even spirit, we can actually craft beautiful lives. We can actually change the world, and it starts from within, then so without. So, go with the flow. I love you all. I'm sending so many blessings, and this is where I'm going to leave it. Till next time, this is Ellie signing off. Bye.